Amigos de Línea Final, los saludo con muchísimo gusto. En esta ocasión nos acompaña Josie Kiersten de el Coronado, la Liga Femenina de Costa Rica. Josie, thank you so much for accepting our invitation to be here.
Of course, no problem.
How are your beginnings in soccer? How is that you discovered the passion for this sport?
So I guess I discovered my passion for soccer, or rediscovered it, I guess you could say, whenever I would go and watch a friend's soccer games. He would play outdoor, and I don't know, just watching the game, I was like, okay, I want to play too. And so little by little, I started looking for places I could also play at. And, I went and I asked a bunch of different teams if they had space for one more player. And, they would always ask, like, what experience you have or where you played before. And I didn't really get anyone else to call me back or anything. So I made a team of just random people on Facebook. I posted it on like a group, like, hey, I need soccer players, and just a bunch of random girls. We went and played indoor, and from there I joined another team, and then I joined another team, and little by little I was like, playing every day, and all of a sudden it became a passion. And more than just the sport, it was like the people was what made it so fun. The fact that I having so many new friendships and so much, I guess, so many things to do, I guess you could say.
I like your attitude. If there's no option, I will create my option because I want to play. I really like it.
For sure.
You told us that you first started swimming and then you changed to soccer. Please, how was it? How did you feel that change? I mean, why did that change happen?
So, it's a huge change for sure. Swimming I enjoyed a lot whenever I was in high school. It definitely taught me like discipline. It taught me a bunch of things that I enjoyed. I still do swim. Like I like to go once a week recreationally to swim, just like an hour, nice and soft. But I didn't want to continue it as a competitive sport just because it takes so much time and effort. And whenever I went into college, I didn't want to have to balance those two things. I also had to work. So I felt like a sport, work, and doing well in school would just be possible. So I always stayed active. I started working at a gym. Like I said, I worked as a personal trainer. I worked as a group fitness instructor. And that, just kind of got me like little bits of information and pieces of information that I always used to stay active. And I used it to my advantage whenever I was studying. Whenever I picked up soccer, it just made sense. It fit everything. I was able to like go out, hang out with people, but stay active. It fit everything.
And how did everything go with the team that you created?
So the team I created, we didn't know like what to call it, right? It's a bunch of random people that I personally have never met before, and we called the team Las Guerreras, the actual in Spanish, and we played it in an indoor that's mostly Americans. And we really were like Las Guerreras. We had a lot of problems. It was a very physical season, unfortunately. But from that season, I made friends with other people that door, and I got on to other working out. That team did not continue, I don't believe. I want to say another one that I created after did work out. We started in like the lowest division, and then we won, and we went up a division, and we went up a division, and so we ended up playing in the top division of that indoor eventually. But I want to say about 3 years ago, I just dropped the team because I wanted to start traveling. So I didn't want to have the team and just kind of like abandon it.
Well, things happen in life. Plans change. But the most important part is that you create a team and that you enjoy playing with them. Are you still in contact with those girls?
Yeah, for sure. I have a lot of the same friends that I played from the very beginning. I want to say one of my best friends is actually the captain of the very first outdoor team I joined. Zoe, she's Mexican, also Mexican American. She's from Dallas, but she has Mexican roots also. So I mean, me and her, I don't talk to her as much when I'm here. I'm really bad about keeping contact with anyone, unfortunately. Like I don't talk to a lot of my friends in Dallas very frequently. But I mean, she was the captain that accepted me onto her outdoor team with me not having that much experience in outdoor, and I stayed with them for like 3 years. And I want to say last year is when I switched over to a new outdoor team, but she's always been like a best friend of mine, and we hang out like all the time back when I was in Dallas.
So definitely an important person in your soccer life, we could say. So,
Yeah, I mean, even outside of soccer, for sure.
in talking about soccer, how do you define yourself as a player? How is Josie Kiersten the footballer?
Yeah. So I would say to define myself as a soccer player, I think back about like what other friends have told me. I had one friend that said I was an elegant player. I think what he was trying to say is that I'm not very like super physical, I guess. Since the level I was in Dallas was always very like it was not it's not super competitional, and so I was always wanting to just make friends with everyone, so I wouldn't like slam anyone. I wouldn't go in super hard, so I feel like I was always looking to just like I like to pass, like that passing is my game all the time. I'm always I my friends are always yelling at me for not shooting. Like that's me. I'm always for pass, pass, pass. I've had people that compare the way that my teams play, like with Barcelona, just pass, 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 pass,
Well,
and not ending up in goal. But I would say,
you're a defender. Your position is not the one that makes the goals. I mean, you can score, but it's not your mainly job inside the field.
for sure,
Right.
for sure. But I feel like every player should be a complete player, right? Like that they should be able to shoot, pass, defend. I feel like that's the most important part of the soccer player is to be very complete in all aspects, right?
Yes, because I think all the positions complement each other. I mean, that's the reason why there's those positions. I mean, you play as a defender. Why? Why did you choose the position of a defender?
So Coronado has me as a defender, but my preference is actually over here they call it contención. I had never heard of that word before, but I'd prefer to play center mid defensively. I am more of
Midfield.
a defensive
Pick a
player,
midfield.
but midfield is where I want to be all the time. Coronado, I feel because of my height, in comparison to Latinas, I'm taller, so they have me as defense most of the time. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a choice. It's more of just, wherever they need me, I'm going to do my best there, right?
Right. So in the midfield, do you like the creative part or the part when you have to retrieve the ball? What do you like the most about being a midfielder?
Yeah, I think so. Probably what I enjoy the most about playing midfield is I like being a supporting player. I want to be there for every single play, and it doesn't mean that I have to be played to, but I want to be there to create space. I ran through here, I pulled the mark, and now someone else has a passing lane. I like to be there as a passing option. I want to be there to talk to you. Hey, you could turn, man on. I just enjoy the fact of helping my team and just being very active. So definitely more defensively because I like to. I guess that's another thing. Another like people have told me a lot that I'm always running. I'm always running. I'm always moving. And so I like to play center mid so I could just consistently be everywhere, here, here, here. Whereas I feel like in defense, the hardest thing for me is the ball, all of a sudden it's up top, but I want to keep going, I want to keep playing, and you just, eventually you have to stop and hold yourself. I hate that about defense.
Because being a midfielder, it's a little bit more dynamic. I think and
For sure.
that's the interesting part. So, how did you become a player for Coronado?
So I don't know how long of a story I should get into.
Long story short.
um, okay,
Sorry.
I had gone to. I always forget what the word of these things are. Someone had offered me to go to like a camp, I guess you could say, like a soccer camp.
Visorías, I think it's the word in Spanish.
Visoria?
Visorías, yeah.
Es, es que no era un visoría, sino era como. Es que no me acuerdo la palabra, siempre se me olvida qué es. O sea, it was just for training, like just for training purposes, not to take anyone anywhere, but just training. Like an extra bonus, I guess you could say it was.
Like a
But
summer
I
break
had,
camp, something like that.
yeah, I have to look up the word because I forget. There is a word for it, but I never like, no se me pega la palabra que es. Uh, but I was invited to it, and I had told a friend that hey, they had invited me to go to this camp, and what do you think? Should I go to it? Because it costs money, obviously. And I was like, well, I mean, I at that time I had no aspirations for playing professionally. I had only started playing soccer maybe 6, 7 years ago, I just enjoy doing it as a hobby. I do practice a lot, and I do try to, better myself continuously. I do practice individually. But so I went to this camp, and there was a Costa Rican coach that was there, and he had made friends with other people at the camp that were my friends. He ended up coming back to Dallas and stayed with me. I had an extra space in my apartment, and from there we became really good friends. And that's how he came to tell me about female soccer here in Costa Rica, and that there was so many opportunities at the level that I'm at. I could play here at first division, right? And so why would I miss the opportunity? Whenever he told me I could, I was like, yeah, I want to go. Just let me know, and how do I do it? And I'm here.